Hey, this is Joe from SoFly, and in this video, we are going to export WooCommerce orders using WP All Export, and then let our clients run that export. So to get started, we'll go down here to All Export and select New Export. And then from the dropdown, we'll select WooCommerce Orders, and you can see here we have a bunch of different other post types, including WooCommerce reviews, products, customers, coupons, and then all your standard WordPress stuff. We're just going to stick with WooCommerce Orders. Then over here, we have our filtering options. So you can set up filters with rules to do pretty much anything. You can filter by your order data, the product data, information related to the customer, dates, everything else. And you can combine these rules in any way to do pretty much anything you need to do. Check out our documentation and our YouTube channel. We have a ton of videos on filtering. In this case, we're just going to customize the export file. So we'll click here to continue. Okay. So over here on the right, we have all of our available data. And that's everything from our orders, customers, the order items, and then all of the more advanced fields from our order. So over here on the left, we have our export. We can click to preview it. And by default, we just get order ID, order key, and title. We can drag and drop to rearrange these. We can click inside to rename a column. We can drag in something new, like for example, order total. Or we can go over here to add field and we can search for fields. So I can click over here and I can find my product name and import it just like that and export it just like that. And we'll preview. And there we go. So I rearranged these, I renamed the order key, I added in the order total, and then I put in the product name. Now you may notice over here, we have these order IDs that are duplicated. And that's because this order has two order items. This person ordered two things. And down here, we can disable display each product in its own row. And then we preview it again, and there we are. So now each order is just on one row, and then every product has its own column. And this will be repeated for any more product information we drag in. So for example, if we go over here to order item data, and I want to drag in the SKU, we can preview, and there we go. Now let's put in some of our customer data. So we have here billing first name, billing last name, but you know what? What if I wanted to put these together into just one field called name? We can do that over here. So we'll create a custom export field, and then all we have to do is drag in our first name and our last name, put a space, and we can call this name. And we can do this with our address. We can do this with pretty much any data in here, right? So we'll save that, preview it. There we go. So let me drag these out of here to get rid of these. And there's one last thing here that's pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and just to give you a quick demo, we'll drag in our billing state and we're going to process this with a PHP function. So you can see I have it written here, change state. So we're going to click in here and we'll go change state and we'll preview. And you can see now this string is being replaced, right? It should be CA like all the other states, but it's replaced with California. So in here, this data from my billing state is being passed into this function where we're replacing CA with California. Pretty simple. This is pretty cool. And you can do a lot of really interesting stuff with this. You can process your data in any way using PHP. Now there's another way that we can process PHP here. And that is by doing this. So we'll go ahead and we'll put a bracket. And then we'll drag in our billing state. That over there. And close the brackets. Now we need to add our change state function. Just like that. And we'll call this state. And we'll save it. And there you go. Same deal. So there's two ways that you can pass data through a PHP function, right? You can do it with your custom export field, or you can do it over here with this option. So we'll just get rid of this field. We don't really need it for our export. and we'll continue. So over here, we have some more options. We can choose to include the header row or not. We can change the CSV separator. And then down here, if we wanted to display each product in its own row, we can also choose to fill in the empty columns or not. So if we disable that, it looks like this, right? So here's order 8965, and then this empty row is for this second product. So we'll just leave it like that. And then down here, we can choose a different export type. So we have a CSV, Excel files, and then we also have a custom XML feed if you wanted to get a little bit more in depth. And here you can write your own custom XML spec to export pretty much however you need it to be exported. And then we have a help function down here. It just kind of shows you how the syntax works and how to build your own XML feed. For us, we're just going to stick over here with our CSV export, and we'll continue and then set up client mode. Okay, so we have some scheduling options up here. So we can choose to run our export on a schedule every day at a certain time. We can do this also with manual scheduling with cron jobs. We have other videos on scheduling in our YouTube channel and our documentation, so you can check that out if you're interested. And then some other options over here, but mostly what we're interested in is client mode. So we'll go ahead and enable this. And this is going to allow non-admins to run this export in client mode. So they can run the export and they can download the file. They can't do anything else. We can't let them create a new export or edit an existing export, right? Because we just saw the PHP functions we're able to create. So they can write their own PHP functions and then execute that PHP. So if they're a non-admin, they can just write a PHP function that says, make me an admin, and then they can take over your whole site. So you definitely don't want to give non-admins access to WPL export, but you can safely do it in a limited fashion with client mode. So we'll enable that, and then we're going to confirm and run the export. Now I'm going to let this go for a few minutes, and I'll come back when it's finished. All right, so our export is complete. Let's go back over here and let's check out our users. So we have a user and he's an editor right over here. Now to set up client mode, we need to go over here to settings and WPL export, scroll down, and then select editor, right? Client mode, roles with access, editor. So I'm going to give all of my editors access to client mode. So now we'll switch to this user. We can see here, I have access to all export. So let's go ahead and click on that. And here is our export that we've created. And I can choose to rerun it, or I can download the CSV. So we'll download the CSV. Let's check it out. And there we go. There is our export that we created. So folks with access to an export in client mode can download the CSV, or they can run the export again to get the latest version of the export file. And there's absolutely no way that they can get into your site and run code or do anything that they shouldn't be able to do. They can only see exports that you've set up for them, and only users with the role that you specified have this access. So that's all it takes to set up an export for clients so they can run their own exports for WooCommerce orders. Thanks for watching, and check out our YouTube channel for more videos like this. We'll see you soon.